Yes.
Rocha.
Yes.
Bergeron.
Yes.
Deveroy.
Yes.
Brem.
Yes.
Rezegi.
Yes.
Tassava.
Yes. Public hearing, we have none. Public comment. Anybody at this time would like to get up to the podium, and I'll give you 3 minutes. Tell me who you are and where you live. Anybody? Okay.
Public comment?
Oh, yeah.
Want to get up, say a few words?
Take a minute for me to get up.
That's all right.
What did I tell you about security?
I won't set the timer until you get up there.
I got my hands up right now.
All right.
Yeah, can you all hear me?
Yep.
I got a big mouth anyway, shouldn't have a problem. I live at 130 West Marshall Street here in Hastings. My name is John Bitgood. It's William John Bitgood. And I had a little mishap, and it's been a concern of mine for quite some time, and others that I know around my neighborhood. But I was cutting across from Wendy's Margaret Street, across State Street to Marshall Street, because that's where I live up in that area. And I had a mishap. I hit someone. I'm at fault. I'm not complaining that I'm at fault. I got the ticket. I paid the ticket. But I think that then other people of my opinion have the same. And even the arresting officer, a young lady, I told her I think that speed limit, I've thought that right along, it's too fast when it's 40 or 45. And I think that speed limit is just too fast up through there. So that's what I wanted to bring to the attention of the council. And that's basically all I got to say. But so this is up to you folks, I guess, to decide what you think. So I'm done.
Okay.
I didn't say I'm dumb. I'm done. But I am dumb, too.
Hey, thank
Thanks
you.
a lot.
Anybody else? Okay, formal recognitions and presentations. Presentation by Dave Hatfield, Berry County Commissioner. He's absent tonight. Items for action by unanimous consent. Motion to accept with regrets the resignation of David Hatfield from the City of Hastings Board of Review. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make that motion, Your Honor.
Support.
Okay, a motion by Rezegi, supported by McLean, to accept with regrets the resignation of David Hatfield from the City of Board of Review and to send a letter of appreciation for his years of service. Any comments? Roll call.
McLean.
Yes.
Bergeron.
Yes.
Stenzelbarton.
Sadly, yes.
Rezegi.
Sadly, yes.
Rocha.
Yes.
Deveroy.
Yes.
Brem.
Yes.
Barlow.
Yes.
Tassava.
Yes. Okay, in your packet, there is 28 invoices totaling $426,729.89. Do I hear a motion to approve and place on file?
I'll make that motion to place that on file, Your Honor.
I second.
Okay, a motion by Stenzelbarton, supported by Deveroy, to receive and place on file 28 invoices totaling $426,729.89. Roll call.
Brem.
Yes.
Barlow.
Yes.
Rocha.
Yes.
McLean.
Yes.
Deveroy.
Yes.
Stenzelbarton.
Yes.
Rezegi.
Yes.
Bergeron.
Yes.
Tassava.
Yes. Items of business. First reading of ordinance number 631, chapter 22, business article 22-1. Don't explain that, Dan. This is the first reading, so you'll get, be brought up again in 2 weeks.
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. Yes, Sarah presented this in concept, I believe, at the last meeting 3 weeks ago. It's kind of a cleanup of the ordinance, especially pertaining to street side dining. Back when it was adopted, platform dining was thought to be, going to be a popular item. Due to the expense of actually buying the materials and constructing the platforms, there wasn't a restaurant in town that took advantage of that. So the ordinance, the draft ordinance is crafted to basically clean that up. Also, there's some other items in the draft ordinance regarding items that can be placed on the sidewalk. In years past, items on the sidewalk, whether it be goods or wares that are being sold by the merchants inside, would require a stay of the ordinance, like during sidewalk sales. This ordinance, it gives a little bit more flexibility to the merchants where they can pull some items out on the sidewalk, some additional signage, some chairs, basically to make the downtown a little bit more inviting and to offer, people who are window shopping a little bit more hands-on type of action with the merchants. So, any questions that anybody has? Again, the first reading.
Okay, thanks,
Thank
Dan. Like I said, this is the first reading. It'll be brought back up in 2 weeks. Meanwhile, if you have any questions, get a hold of Dan, or we can have Sarah clarify some of this stuff. It's pretty. It solves a lot of the issues we've had over the years with people just putting stuff out there. So, okay. Motion to adopt the paid parental leave policy as presented. Everybody get a chance to look at that?
I'll make the motion to adopt the paid parental leave.
I'll support that.
Okay, a motion by McLean, supported by Rizgi, to adopt the paid parental leave policy as presented. Questions? No further questions? Roll call.
Rezegi,
Yes.
Stenzelbarton,
Yes.
Barlow,
Yes.
Devroy,
Yes.
Bergeron,
Yes.
McLean,
Yes.
Rocha,
Yes.
Brem,
Yes.
Tassava.
Yes. Item C, motion to approve the Berry County Serenity Club to accept donations and free will offerings during the overdose awareness concert on Saturday, August 30th, 2025, to be held at Thornton Plaza.
I'll make that motion.
I second it.
Okay, a motion by Rocha, supported by Stenzelbarton, to approve Berry County Serenity Club to accept donations and free will offering during the overdose awareness concert on Saturday, August 30th, 2025, to be held at the Thornton Plaza. Any questions? It's the same thing they've done in the past, isn't it, Dan?
Exactly.
Okay. No further questions? Roll call.
Rocha,
Yes.
Stenzelbarton,
Yes.
Barlow,
Yes.
Brem, McLean,
Yes.
Bergeron,
Yes.
Rezegi,
Yes.
Devroy,
Yes.
Tassava.
Yes. Item D, compare developer proposals from city-owned residential property acquisition and development, and authorize the city manager to negotiate a purchase and a development agreement for the property, or for the mayor and clerk to sign. Give us a little information on that, Dan? I was hoping the other developer would be here tonight.
I anticipated that both would be here tonight, but we do have one. So a little bit of background for the newer council members. The city has owned this parcel of property at the end of Hayes and Orchard Street in the southeastern section of the city for 25 years. It's been available for sale for all of that time. It's just the city never actively marketed the piece of property. There was some interest from some developers, not quite 2 years ago, regarding this property. So through following our asset disposition policy, we placed a notice on our website making the property available for sale. In January, I believe it was January of last year, we actually had two developers that came forward and actually presented their proposals to City Council for development of this parcel. 2 years ago, both developers basically submitted similar plans. They were looking at developing 18 to 20 single-family detached homes. Council chose at that meeting to to move forward with a developer. Fast forward to tonight, and a little bit more backstory. The developer that was chosen after the due diligence period expired, they chose to rescind their offer to purchase the property, so it threw us right back to where we had to start again. So we did start the process again earlier this year. We collected actually 3 letters of interest. One of them basically canceled during the process. The time frame was getting too elongated for them. So we do have 2 developers that are interested in acquiring this property. Unlike 2 years ago, these 2 proposals are vastly different. One of the proposals is again calling for an 18 to 20 single-family detached housing development in that area. The other developer is looking at a little bit more density, or quite a bit more density, with a mix of duplexes, possibly some 8-family townhouses, so higher density type of residential living. So because of the differences in the 2 developers' proposals, my recommendation, and I think Sarah's would be the same if she were here, would be to have City Council discuss with the one developer that's here their plans, ideas, thoughts. The other one is pretty straightforward, but because of their difference, and I believe the City Council's desire probably to collect more information, I don't believe any decision would be necessary or required tonight. But again, that's your purview. So any questions that I might be able to answer for council, I'd be happy to do that.
Forgive me, I'm not a housing expert. What is a detached family home?
Traditional single family. Attached would be like a condo type of attached condos, and those are single family also. They might be quadruplex or duplex, but they're attached and they're single family.
So it's a single family home?
Correct, but it's detached, like the majority of our residences in town.
Right, okay, I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't assuming something.
Yep.
This was the one thing that came to my attention the most, was the table showing the differences, and I just was like, wow, they're proposing completely different things. So I actually emailed Sarah today and asked her about it, and asked if we had ever done a study as to what was the real need in town for what kind of housing. And she said that nothing had really been done in that way, but she could tell me that there weren't any townhome type structures in town right now. That was
Correct. To our knowledge, there are no
yeah,
traditional townhome type structures, which are basically 2-level.
right.
You've got an entrance on the first floor, and then stairs leading up to a second level, and they're generally attached. So there's, I don't know, out east they're called row houses or something of that nature. They have different names, but they're single family homes. They're just attached,
Right.
with a first floor and an upper floor.
So in your packet, we have, this gentleman in the back is Marv Helder. He's the second. So what I'd like to do is get him up here to talk and tell us kind of what he wants to do. Like I say, we're not gonna make a decision tonight because I wanna hear from the other ones too. I'm disappointed that, Ellen Edmonds wasn't here. We know what they've built up there. We know what Marv's built because he's done some apartments downtown. He's done, and I thought those are townhouses over there by, across from, the restaurant on Court Street. What do they call those over there, Dan?
Just a five-unit apartment, basically.
Right.
It's just one floor.
Okay.
There was
So-
a proposal to the Planning Commission, kind of in rough draft form, for some other property that Mr. Helder owns in the city, and he was originally kind of proposing townhomes there, but for different reasons, that didn't move forward.
Okay. Any other questions of Dan before we have Marv get up there?
Well, no, my question was gonna be, are these condos or are they apartments?
Townhomes.
Well, they would be basically for rental purposes. Now, I'm not gonna speak for the developer. That we'll let them speak as to the ownership and how it'll be structured. Any other questions I can? Thank you.
This might be a mistake letting Marv talk. Here we've got a lot. Marv Helder, go ahead.
I want to thank you for the fact that I've spent 10 years here, and a lot of you are new. I'm old. And Dan mentioned this piece of property to me a couple of years ago. I was in the midst of having a stroke at the time, and that's why the development on Michigan and Court Street hasn't happened yet. But we just plain can't retire. And so I've got my son involved now, and I told Dan, I says, we'll build whatever the city wants us to build there. We feel that the city knows best what they need. Housing is critical. The new apartments down the street, they got them done less than a year ago and they're all rented. Rents are high. My apartments above the radio station on Court Street, they're rented as fast as I can get them ready when a tenant moves out. The city needs housing. It needs housing bad. I understand that in the last month, the township to the west of us just approved a new Myers. That's 300 new employees coming to Hastings to spend their money here, to live here. The biggest problem, I've talked to the entrepreneurs that own factories and that type of thing, the biggest problem is they get qualified people. They have to come from Grand Rapids, some from Middleville, some from Kalamazoo. So if they can find a job in Kalamazoo or Middleville or Grand Rapids for $18 and they can find one here for $20, they take the $18 one because they can't drive. It doesn't make sense. So the biggest thing that we see is a housing problem. This piece of property is bordering the old factory. Yeah, it's probably fine for single family. The problem is single family housing today, unless you guys want to make some mighty big changes to lot sizes and build some 700 square foot homes, which are a lot of those 80-year-old homes in there. That's exactly what they built back then, a little story and a half. There's just no way to justify the expense of putting in a road, putting in sewer and all that type of thing, and building single family homes in a small piece. It just doesn't work very well. Because what happens is your $240,000 home is $290,000, and it doesn't even have a garage today because it's so expensive. When I talked to Dan, the way the property is set, you just don't know exactly how you're going to be able to lay out, whether we put a couple of duplexes at the entrance to the long, narrow piece of property. And I don't like three-story apartment buildings because I don't think anybody wants to live in the middle because then you guys, so I like townhouses. I like the idea of townhouses. One of the things that we had talked about was to build some rental townhouses and have them set up so that we could have sewer and water to each one, so that 5 or 10 years from now you could, quote unquote, sell them as single family attached type of a thing. I know that's been done in Grand Rapids a couple of places. You know, we're looking to satisfy what you need as a project, what you need, what you think the city needs, and try very hard. I already talked to Mishta. There's some money available. I think it's called the missing middle or something like that for smaller projects. We may very well do the one on Court Street first, and we have a tentative approval from probably a year and a half or 2 years ago now to build 9 townhouses, about 750 square feet there, 2 bedrooms up. That may very well be what we would do first while we're getting all the bugs, if we get this piece of property, get the bugs out of it, figure out where the sewer and water is from 30 years ago. And then at that point, we would come back and say, this is kind of what we're thinking. What do you think? Do you want to put townhouses on one side and on the end of the property put some two-story apartments, a 12-unit or 2 8-family units type of thing? Again, without doing a lot of engineering before you own it, you really don't know how far you can go. When you talk single family, you say, okay, there's, 31 lots there, and we can squeeze 31 houses in there. The problem with affordable housing today is it's still not affordable, especially new ones. So my thought, I built apartments. I have a couple of 8 families that I built back in the 80s on the south end of Grand Rapids. I still have that plan. It's a very nice, plain, all brick at that point. But I like townhouses because you don't have anybody living up above you or below you, and that's why I made that proposal here. And then the good Lord said, we're going to slow you down for a little while. And so that may very well be the first project that we would do. But I would like to move ahead with this project as soon as possible. I sold a piece of property in Grand Rapids. I have a 1031 exchange that's coming due fairly soon. So I would like to put that into that piece of property at this point, even if we don't do anything to it for a year, while we're waiting to find out what you want and the way you want it done. I'm not looking to see how many units we can put in there. I don't want to cluster it, but we have to be able to put housing in Hastings so that they'll use downtown, and yet it's close enough that they can go to the Meijer store, they can go to the 5 major plants here in town that need employees, and they need people here. So that's our proposal.
Okay, we're gonna go down, right down the line and ask questions. You have any questions of Marv, Mike?
So Marv, all these units, again, I'm listening to all of it, but so basically, you would prefer to put in more apartment-type units that would be rented?
Multifamily appears to be the desire of the people that I've talked to from the city, and it solves the problem the quickest of, if we have, as an example, Meijer's coming in with 300 new employees. Some of them obviously will come from other stores and that type of thing, but you could very easily have 100 new people in Hastings working here looking for a place to live, a young couple or a single person or whatever. And so that's kind of, I have not talked to Meijer's directly, but there is a program that the state of Michigan has through Michigan Economic Development where they will do matching funds with a commercial customer. There's $4.5 million sitting there waiting to be joined together. So if we get the property, I would get a hold of Meijer's and say, have you ever, because they haven't done it, have you ever thought about doing something like that? And again, the whole idea of keeping the costs down so we can keep the rents down. And at some point, I'm not 21 anymore, at some point to look at it and say, maybe the best thing to do is build some townhouses that could be set up that you could sell them, kind of a condominium type of a setup, other than the fact that, they would pay probably their own property tax. I know probably about 30 years ago, they did some of those in Grand Rapids where they had actually a duplex on one piece of property with 2 owners. And there was a foot between the driveway of grass, and that was literally the lot line. And those are all still there. But again, the whole idea, make it affordable. And I know when I made the proposal for the 9 family on Michigan, we chuckled about it, but there was room for 9 units there, and we got approval. But the whole idea is the further you can shove the last wall from the first wall, and the more units you can put in, the less expensive it is, because you've only got one last wall. So again, if it costs $50,000, you can tack $3,000 or $4,000 off of each unit. And again, the idea is keeping the rent so that the average working person in Hastings can afford to live here. And it's getting hard. I wished I would have built that apartment on Michigan 2 years ago. At that point, it was about $1.5 million. It's about 2.25 right now. Everything is just, yeah. So the idea would be to build affordable housing there. I think that's what the city wants. If the city changes their mind, we can throw up single-family houses in there, but I don't think that you're going to get the penetration that you need in Hastings right now.
So the other proposal talks about putting, what, 13 or 14 single housing units in that same space?
17 to 19.
17 to 19?
Yeah.
He's 15, 16.
Question,
Thank
John?
you.
Basically, Marv's answered all the questions I've had, and I've dealt with Marv before, and I like his ideas.
Yeah.
You said most of them would be rentals. Would the duplexes also be, or would people be able to purchase them and then use it as a
Well, that's,
way to make money
again, that
on the
would
other
be
side?
whether we can get in either a zero lot line type of a thing. You know, duplexes are less expensive to build than two-family homes are cheaper to build than single-family homes because you can squeeze more onto one lot type of thing. So again, it would be the idea of whether the city says, you know, it would be nice on Hay Street as we come in to build four single-family homes there, or a duplex on each side, zero lot line for sale. Again, the whole idea is, what does the city want? How can we do it so that it can be affordable for the local people? I'm not from Hastings. I came here about 12 years ago and met some really nice people, and I just like this town. And at 76, I should say, no, I'm done. But it just, the need is here. I feel like it again, and so that's really when I talked to Dan about it, I said, hey, let's see what happens.
Any questions, Jackie?
I have no questions.
So, Marv, my biggest concern, I've been around you enough, I guess, the last 12 years, and I know what you do. You know, I really appreciate you coming in here tonight. My only question I have, you have a desire to have both Hayes and Orchard Streets paved to the property line. Is that a make or break thing right there?
It's not a make or break. The thing is at this point, if obviously you're not gonna let me put in a gravel driveway with no curbs in a new project. So that where Hayes stops is not where our property line stops or starts. So there's an area between there. I would guess maybe it's 80 or 100 feet, that all I'm saying is it behooves the city to pave up to where we would pave, that whatever that barriers. Obviously, we can work something out where we can pave it and say to the city, okay, it's $15,000 to pave that part to get it up. Again, it's not a make or break deal, but I don't want to have a nice asphalt parking lot or street to the project and have 50 feet that I don't own, that's city property or whatever. I don't know if there's vacant lots between there and Hay Street. I really don't know what the situation is, but part of Hay Street is not paved
So
up to
you would
that.
rather use Hayes Street for entrance and exit
Well,
to the property?
I
Because
guess
if you're
that's,
talking about paving Orchard Street, you're looking at probably 1,000 feet. From where it stops down there at the cul-de-sac, where your property would be, all the way back to Clinton Street.
it doesn't, I mean, the thing is what my understanding is that for fire and police, you gotta have a roundabout, so to speak, to get in and get out. Well, that would be Orchard Street, Hay Street, that's the circle. Now, if you wanna have that be just a fire lane only, we wouldn't need that for the apartments. I mean, the original, correct me if I'm wrong, Dan, the original plan of that back in the 80s was that there was just a little cul-de-sac went back in there and back out, and it came off of Hay Street. I don't think it connected with that at all. So the only thing would be fire and police would be the only reason you'd want to have that, and if that would be,
But that's what my concern is, if that was gonna be a make or break, and it doesn't sound like it's gonna be.
no, I mean, we could just have, a curb cut in there to that street and it's gravel.
Right.
You know, I'm not saying that tenants wouldn't use it, but no, the only thing is the cost of putting that 1,000 feet of street in, that basically wouldn't help us at all.
Right.
Again, just is not, it's not necessary from our standpoint, Bill.
Right. That's,
So-
you know, that's what I want to
Yeah,
know.
yeah, I mean, I have no problem putting a cul-de-sac in there and putting a curb cut in there to that, so that if a fire engine had to get out of there, they could take the gravel road out. I mean, that's, I don't even think that gravel road is county, plowed in the winter or anything, is it?
We used to plow down Orchard Street. Yeah.
It is? Okay, so I mean, it would be open as a gravel emergency exit type of thing, and that would be all that would be necessary. as
Anyhow,
far as
that
we're
was my
concerned.
big concern, if that was a make or break, so.
Sure.
Any
No, it's not.
questions?
No, I don't have any questions.
Norman?
No.
Gary?
You mentioned the word affordability 7 times,
Mhm.
which is big for me. I think about the pay grade 2s at Hastings Manufacturing right
Yep.
here. It's gotta be something that they can get into, and I can't wait to see both full proposals on this, and I appreciate you coming in and telling us what you have.
Yep.
I like the density too.
So, affordable housing is the buzzword that everybody uses nowadays. And unfortunately, especially in the economic and the housing downturn right now, nobody can afford, especially people who work factory jobs.
Yep.
Or it used to be back in the day, and I may be a little bit younger, but even back in the day, $22 an hour was a good paying job.
Yep.
You can't survive on $22 an hour anymore.
But there's lots of people in Hastings that are.
Correct, and my issue is we're getting ready to put in 119 homes, which is fantastic, and we need to be able to grow single-family homes, but, you know, those are gonna be sitting at $350,000 homes.
Or more.
It's somebody who's working at a Viking or a Flex Fab or Hastings, they can't afford that. Even with a second person working, they can't afford, the banks won't give them the loan to even get into that house. And so I know this is very early, and I know the proposal is not completed yet here, but I'm just curious, and it doesn't have to be any definitively, but if I'm looking at renting potentially here a townhome that you have, what would that look like price point wise? And again, it doesn't have to be definitive, but I'm just kind of wanted to kind of.
My goal would be to keep it below $1,500.
Okay.
I currently have 3 2-bedrooms on Court Street. Those are $1,300 a month. I just raised the rent from $1,250 to $1,300 because a city very dear to my heart just raised the water bill, and the Consumers Power just raised the gas and the electric about 8%. So when you re-rent, that's your time, because I rent by the year, and it's just to the point where everything is going up. Everybody knows it. The building that I have over on State Street above the radio station, there is totally inclusive. Those are all 1-bedrooms. But the most expensive one there is $1,250, and that includes everything except internet. So again, the idea is long-term, yeah, I gotta make some money.
Sure.
Because I got kids and grandkids. But the fact is affordability is what is necessary right now in Hastings. And, 100 homes is great. But if nobody can afford them, you're not gonna build 100 homes. You're gonna build 10, and you're gonna find out, we gotta build bi-levels, or we gotta cut them down in size, something. Because it's not getting any cheaper. PCI just sent out a whole new set of regulations, and it isn't gonna make it cheaper.
Well, and that's what I appreciate, because we that's what we do. You're right. We do have a housing crisis here, and it really just kind of funnels down to affordability. People
Right.
can't afford, and there's a lot of people that love, Hastings is an awesome town. It's an amazing town.
Awesome town.
And people would love to be able to stay here, but if you can't find housing to begin with,
Right.
and you don't have affordable housing, then
Right.
so I appreciate you bringing this up.
Great. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll, hopefully get, the other developer here at the next meeting, and, you're invited back. Next time your son's gonna talk though. I think he talked about it. So, can you make sure that, Alan Edwards is here next time, Dan? Cause I think we should make a decision next time. you know, and, get either Marv and his son going or Ellen Edmonds, but, you know, I bet,
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Was there a certain reason, Dan, that they aren't here tonight?
I can't answer that. The agenda packet went out to both developers, alerting them the meeting was today, so.
Okay, thank
Could
you.
have been emergency.
That's all I need.
Okay.
I received no contact today from the other developer.
Well, like I said, we'll make a decision next council meeting. Moving on. Item E, motion to approve the purchase of Genesis combination extrication tool from Rescue Resources in the amount of $18,650. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make that motion, Your Honor.
I'll support it.
Okay, motion by Stens Martin, supported by Brem, to approve the purchase of a Genesis combination extractor tool from Rescue Resources in the amount of $18,650. Discussion.
Yes, Your Honor. Chief, could you?
Sure, absolutely.
And the reason I'm doing this, I talked to the chief before this because, you know, guys, I don't like to spend money. He explained to me why this is needed. Could you please tell us again, chief? So
Sure.
everyone knows. what you
So,
told me.
so we currently have two sets of extrication equipment. We have a set that was bought about 7 years ago. That's in our lead rescue engine. And that's around a $45,000 pieces of equipment when you lump everything together. The second piece was bought in 2001. It's old. It's hard to get parts for. It doesn't get used a whole lot because we tend to not use it. We'd rather use the newer equipment, even though that's not always the piece of equipment that's closest to us to use. So this purchase that we're looking at purchasing is a single piece of equipment, 18,000, that will do spreading and cutting in an extrication event on a second incident or when where the first vehicle is not available. For instance, tonight. So our primary vehicle tonight is up at the races up at the fairgrounds. So if we have an accident here in town where we need extrication, we're going to have to either bring mutual aid or use our old hydraulic equipment or bring that vehicle out from the fairground and bring it back down here. So is it something that's going to get used? No, absolutely not, which is why we're looking at buying a combination piece of equipment to do the job of $40,000 for $18,000. Obviously, it's not as heavy duty as the Ford, but it will do what we need it to do to extricate somebody out of a vehicle.
About how often would it be used throughout a year?
Hopefully never.
I'd say in the last
Hopefully
year,
never.
probably 4 to 6 times. It's not something you're going to use every day. Absolutely not. No. Are we going to use it more often because we have a newer piece of equipment? Probably yes. In fact, we were going to place it in our second engine. We're probably going to place it in the new ambulance that was just delivered today.
Any other questions?
And just one more comment I'd like to just before the equipment, the specific reason when we're buying this equipment is it matches the equipment we already have on the other truck. So we can use the same batteries, same battery chargers. Everyone's familiar with the equipment.
Anything else? Okay, we have motion and support to approve the purchase of Genesis combination extrication tool from Rescue Resources in the amount of $18,650. There's no further comment. Roll call.
Barlow.
Yes.
McLean.
Yes.
Stenzelbarton.
Yes.
Bergeron.
Yes.
Devroy.
Yes.
Rocha.
Yes.
Rezegi.
Yes.
Brem.
Yes.
Tassava.
Yes. Okay, the next item, motion to approve the purchase of a Stryker Life Pack LP15 monitor AED from Stryker Sales LLC in the amount of $23,069.57. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make that motion, sir.
Support.
Okay, motion by Barlow, supported by Devroy, to approve the purchase of a Stryker Life Pack LP15 monitor / AED from Stryker Sales LLC in the amount of $23,069.57. Questions?
As before, I talked to Chief Jordan, and I was unfortunately able to have something like this used by about 2 weeks ago after a little incident. Could you tell us about this, please?
Sure. So I'll actually get into it a little bit further when I do my report a little bit later on, but it'll all tie together. So when we're a BLS agency, it gives us the ability to do a little bit more patient intervention. And so having the life pack, an AED, all an AED is going to do is look at the heart, see if it can be shocked, and move on. The AED is going to let us look a little harder at what the heart's doing. We can see how the patient's breathing. We can use it not only just in CPR. So an AED is only going to be used in CPR events. And this life pack will be used on pretty much any call we go on. We're going to have that with us. We're going to use it to look at the patient's heart rate. It'll do blood pressures for us. Carbon dioxide, how the patient's breathing. So it does a lot of things all in one place. It also records everything we do. We have the ability to then transmit that information to either the ALS ambulance, or we can transmit it straight to the hospital, so they know what's coming to them. So it is also a requirement for the Medical Control Authority requires a life pack on any BLS truck.
Any other questions? Okay, so we have a motion and support. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Brem,
Yes.
Stenzel Barton,
Yes.
Rocha,
Yes.
Barlow,
Yes.
Bergeron,
Yes.
Rezegi,
Yes.
McLean,
Yes.
Deveroy,
Yes.
Tassava.
Yes. Item G, motion to approve the purchase of a 2025 Caterpillar wheel loader in the amount of $278,315.41, less trade-in value of $28,000 for the city's 2008 wheel loader, which lessens the purchase price to a total of $250,315.41. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make that motion, Your Honor.
Support.
Okay, motion by Stenzel Barton, supported by McLean, to approve the purchase of a 2025 Caterpillar wheel loader in the amount of $278,315.41, less trade-in value of $28,000 for the city's 2008 wheel loader, which lessens the purchase price to a total of $250,315.41. Questions?
I just had a question about the life expectancy of this new Caterpillar, if we, what we can anticipate, because I know the other one was 2008, right? So
Yeah.
I'm curious what that is.
So life expectancy of this one is right around between 20 to 23 years.
Okay.
Generally, we try and get rid of them around 15. Once they hit 15 years, they really have a tendency to go downhill quick. As I indicated in the report of the ROPS cab, rollover protective structure, that is very detrimental to any operator in that. This equipment has been really good for us. Cats, we've had really good luck with Cat. As you can see, the price difference there, but Cat has a better 10-year resale value. They also have better fuel consumption average, all around better tires, better LED lighting, just a better package than what the other equipment offered. I thought that would be our best choice.
Do you know how many hours were on the old vehicle?
I was gonna look, but I believe there's right around 8,000 to 12,000.
Problem with a lot of the city equipment, it's either an idle or it's going full bore. You know, it kind of puts around town until it gets into an environment where it's working, you know, where it's loading trucks with salt in the wintertime and material in the summertime. Our loaders are probably used more than anything we have.
Yeah.
Burn truck.
This is in our budget, right?
Yes.
In fact, I think it's less than what we
It
budgeted
is.
for it.
It is.
What's that?
Okay, just
It was
making sure.
budgeted for 285.
Yeah, 285 was the CIP.
Any other questions? We have a motion and support no further comment. Roll call.
Deveroy,
Yes.
Barlow,
Yes.
Brem,
Yes.
Rezegi,
Yes.
Stenzel Barton,
Yes.
Rocha,
Yes.
McLean,
Yes.
Bergeron,
Yes.
Tassava.
Yes. I see Rob still standing there.
Still want more money, are you, Rob?
Item H, motion to approve the purchase of a 2026 Ford F-250 4x4 XL pickup from Longhammer Ford of Owasso in the amount of $50,171, and truck uplifting from Truck and Trailer of Dutton, $5,963 for a grand total of $56,134. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make that motion.
It's a Ford.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion by Bram, supported by Barlow, to approve the purchase of a 2026 Ford F-250 4x4 XL pickup from Longhammer Ford of Owasso, Michigan, in the amount of $50,171, and then truck uplifting from Truck and Trailer of Dutton for $5,963 for a total of $56,134. No further comments, questions? Got a question? Go ahead.
Is this replacing a vehicle?
Yes, it is.
What it said in your report.
I didn't read everything, I'm sorry. Boy, made me feel bad. And the upfitting is what?
The upfitting is the additional equipment that it needs that's not from the factory, so.
It's not like a lift kit or anything like that?
No, it's light bars, toolboxes, hooking up the lights.
Okay.
Any further comments? Roll call.
Bergeron,
Yes.
McLean,
Yes.
Brocha,
Yes.
Barlow,
Yes.
Brem,
Yes.
Stenzelbarton,
Yes?
Rezegi,
Yes.
Devroy,
Yes.
Tassava.
Yes. Item I, motion to approve bid award to Ideal Coating LLC for the court resurfacing and line painting of the existing tennis courts at Bob King Park in the amount of $65,099.50. This project will result in 8 pickleball courts. Do I hear a motion?
I make the motion to approve that bid award to Ideal Coatings LLC.
Okay, we have a motion. Do I hear support? Support by Rezegi. Okay, we have a motion by McLean, supported by Rezegi, to approve the bid award to Ideal Coating LLC for the court resurfacing and line painting of the existing tennis courts at Bob King Park in the amount of $65,099.50. And like it said in the report, this project will result in 8 pickleball courts, and this is in budget, so. Any questions?
Is there a warranty on this? That seems like a lot of money without a warranty. I mean, is the paint gonna flake off? I see the price difference, I wonder what type of, it's a lot of money. Is it a warranty?
$8 a square foot.
I do believe, I don't have the paper with me,
Yeah,
but
I
I
don't-
do believe that there was a warranty
One-year
with it.
warranty upon
1 year,
completion.
yeah.
On color coat, cracks will reflect. This will not solve water issues. I don't, that's what it says at the end.
So I have kind of done a little bit of research on this company. They have a good reputation for a lot of pickleball courts. They do a lot of them resurfacing and reconstructing on new construction. From what input that I have received, they have been very reputable and really good to work with.
I think that Ideal Coating, all they do is tennis courts, pickleball courts.
Yeah, they indoors and outdoors.
Yep. The other company's more of an asphalt and sealing company, like parking lots, roads, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Well, we have a motion and support, no further comments, roll call.
Rezegi,
Yes.
Bergeron,
Yes.
McLean,
Yes.
Devroy,
Yes.
Barlow,
Yes.
Stenzelbarton,
Yes.
Brem,
Yes.
Brocha,
Yes.
Tassava.
Yes. Staff presentations and policy discussions, we have none. City manager report, I'll report for Sarah that she's in Quebec and it's smoky up there.
Yeah.
Okay, Fire Chief George's monthly report. Anything to add there?
I do. I was asked a couple of questions, so I thought I would clarify. Right, pretty much I'm just going to cover the piece about the, when I talked about upgrading our agency this in June. So the fire department has been a medical first response agency for the last 15 years, such. Since I got on board, one of my goals was to upgrade that to a basic life support agency. So we've been able to meet that goal now, and then that gives us just like I was talking about with the life pack, it gives us additional tools. We now carry additional drugs on our vehicles to help patients in their time of need. We also went from one medical license truck. We will have 4 when we get done. So we'll have 4 medically licensed vehicles that can respond out to calls. A lot of this goes in hand with, we've seen longer arrival times of ALS trucks, so we're having to do a little bit more medical treatment than we used to in the past. We were always used to having ALS, advanced life support service truck, really right there now, and that's not the case anymore. So we are required to do a little bit more work with the patients. So this just gives us a few extra tools. And that goes hand in hand with the ambulance that the Birch board bought that, like I said, we had delivered today, and I'll have more information about that at the next meeting. And the next thing I had, we also hired the full-time person today. He was going to be here today, but unfortunately, he ended up having to go work at the fair tonight. So that's Nathan Pulver. He started with us today, and so we're lucky to get him on board. He's well experienced and knows everything we need right out the gate, so we can hit the ground running. And then on the reports, I added a new report on the end. I continued doing the fire comparison piece, just showing where we're at compared to last year. I also added another piece underneath, and I think this is kind of important. So the first one in there is averaging route time. I like to call it out the chute, so we're out the door. During the day, when we're staffed, our goal is to be out of the door with a truck within 90 seconds. That's our goal. That's what we usually hit. We have a truck en route within 90 seconds of the time we get the call. You see your 4.9 because you're going to see a little bit of a longer time at night when we're not at the station. So that's obviously going to drive the average up. Okay. Same with the average scene arrival time. That's going to change. If it's in the city, we're there within a couple of minutes. If it's out far side of Baltimore, it could be 8, 9, 10 minutes before we get there. So it just kind of gives you an average. And then the last piece on there is just average over all the calls for the month of June. On average, we're on the call 30 minutes at a time. So I'm going to leave that report in there going forward, so you can see how we're doing. If anybody has any more questions, or
I just have one. You said you just got the new ambulance?
we just delivered today.
Okay.
Yes.
Saw that.
And how will that work? When will that go out? And will you ever be called on just as an ambulance?
So that's down the road.
Yeah.
So it will, once the truck's in service, it's going to take us just a little bit to get it in service. We've got some changes to make to the truck. It was a used vehicle that was brought out of Texas. We have to make some changes to make it legal in the state of Michigan. So we're working on that right now. It will go out anytime that we normally would have gone out anyway.
Okay.
So it's going to go out when Mercy's not available, or when so we're bringing another advanced life service truck in. That truck's going to go out.
Okay.
The ultimate goal is that down the road, if anything's changed, at least we'll have an operating BLS transport truck available to us to use for residents.
Any other questions? Thanks, Chief.
All right, thanks.
In your packet, you have the Library Director Edelman's monthly report. Also in that report is, in that manager's report, is the Water Service Superintendent Vern Robbins' monthly report. Anything to add to your report, Vern?
I do not, Your Honor.
Any questions of Vern? He runs your favorite place.
Yeah.
Well, the water plant's great, but
You
like water.
Yeah, I like
We
water.
do like our water.
So did they, all the flow valves and all that stuff working up to speed, are they? No, at the water plant, did you put in
Flow meters?
Flow
Yeah, flow
meters.
meters. Yeah.
Yes.
That's all working great.
Yes.
Okay. Other than that, I have nothing. Downtown Development Authority draft minutes of June 19, 2025. Hastings Public Library Board of Trustees draft minutes of July 7, 2025. Entertain a motion to accept item A and B and place on file.
So moved.
Support.
Okay, motion by Rocha, supported by McLean, to accept items A and B and place on file. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Item 14, public comment. Any public left? No? No left. Mayor and council report. Anything to report tonight, Mike?
Nothing from my end.
Yeah, John?
Nothing from me.
And
Just have fun at the fair.
I don't think so.
Jackie?
I got nothing.
So, we still have a few open time periods for the fair, the booth out there. I'm gonna tell you what happened. I ended up in the hospital last week, and my plan was for the fair booth, as we got people signing up, I would fill the gap. Well, last week, when the fear was that I wasn't gonna be able to perform, I talked to Dan, and we were gonna just stop the booth. We weren't gonna have it this year. Well, we were told, and you know, I don't want to overwork our former mayor, Frank Campbell. Frank was going to be out of town, traveling to Nebraska or someplace, Montana, I guess. And so when I got what happened to me last week, I just decided, you know, we're not going to do it. Well, word got to Frank, and Frank says, you know what, let's do it, and I'll step in. Well, he's signed up for every night this week. So if I get one or two other people to come out there and kind of relieve him, I think there's like a 8 to 10 shift. I think Friday's 8 to 11, isn't it?
Friday and Saturday is 8 to
Yeah,
11.
and Saturday we have people there. I'm there Friday morning from 11 to 2. There might be a break in there. So just, if anybody's interested, just talk to Dan. He'll get you signed up for that. It's a lot of fun. You get to talk to a lot of people out there, especially Kids Day, when you have all them little guys taking your stuff. It is fun, you know, and I was really disappointed. I didn't think I was going to be able to make it out there. I'm there, but we don't want to kill everybody. But anyhow, that's my comment for the night. Jordan?
Yeah, nothing.
Norman?
I'd like to say there were two events in town last weekend. First responders event, very, very nice. Enjoyed it very much, my wife and I. And then the Rock the Block party on Saturday night, we attended that, and that was very well done and very well attended and very pleased.
Terry? Nothing. John?
And we're halfway through the summer already, can you imagine that?
Yeah.
Almost winter's here, almost here.
They're also looking for somebody to beat the drum for the Tangletown. So if you have any time, spare time. I was kind of disappointed today there was no material out there. And I had at least 4 people ask me about.
If we have material, I'm gonna be at, one of the booths. I got 3 booths I'm gonna be at over the course of the
Well,
week,
there's
so.
gonna be somebody else out there, but if you think about it, you know, stop by, and if you can, you know, kind of promote Tangletown a little bit,
Yep.
we'd appreciate it.
So they do have their own booth space, though. Tangletown.
Do they? Where's it at?
Well, I don't know, that's what I asked, because I was
No.
told that they did.
Well,
No.
I think they were gonna stand right at our booth and
Yeah.
peddle their wares.
Okay.
Okay, because I asked about getting some Tangletown stuff this morning, but
Yep.
then we thought maybe they had. their
Well,
own booth.
you know, we have a lot of room on that table, we can set that stuff out there.
You know,
You know.
Your Honor, there's not a lot of room on that table, but I'm sure we can stuff some more
We can
stuff
push
on it.
Thornton Township.
I usually do, turn the fan that way.
I've been known to do that.
Oh, there's
We'll have to
paperwork.
spin the wheel
Yeah.
sideways.
Okay, I think Jackie wants to get home with something to eat, so.
I always am hungry.
If there's nothing
At
coming
this
before
time.
council, entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion to
Support.
adjourn.
Motion by McLean, supported by Rezegi. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. We're adjourned.
I really wanted to make a comment about that ambulance coming from Texas. It had to have the horns removed.
Thank you.